Hey there, tennis fans. I'm Grace Carter, and this is Tennis Now, presented by Tennis Express. Tennis Express, order today, and it ships today. Martina Navratilova has championed gay rights and women's causes for decades now. And now the Hall of Famer is under fire from some in the LGBT community for strongly opposing transgender women competing in women's sport. Martina says it's insane and it's cheating for transgender women to compete as women. In a candid and controversial column she wrote for the Sunday Times, the former #1 says it is simply not fair. To put the argument at its most basic, she says, a man can decide to be female, take hormones if required by whatever sporting organization is concerned, win everything in sight, and perhaps even earn a small fortune, and then reverse his decision and go back to making babies if he so desires. She says it's just cheating. She says she's happy to address a transgender woman in whatever form she prefers, but she would not be happy to compete against her. It wouldn't be fair, Martina says. Well, as you can expect, members of the transgender community have struck back. The group Transactual tweeted this: "We're pretty devastated to discover that Martina Navratilova is transphobic. If trans women had an advantage in sport, why aren't trans women winning gold medals left and right and center? Because trans women don't have an advantage," the tweet goes on. Transgender cycling champion Dr. Rachel McKinnon called Martina's stance an irrational fear or something that just doesn't happen and branded her column transphobic. Navratilova took to Twitter to criticize a CNN report on the controversy. Martina fired back saying it's not about me or about whether I was criticized. Really what she wants is for the actual issues to be discussed. Meanwhile, Martina supporters say the issue is about ensuring fair play, and they assert that Martina is courageous for taking a public stance because anybody who dares criticize the current rules will face backlash. So what exactly is the rule on transgender eligibility in sport? A 2015 ruling by the International Olympic Committee permits trans men to compete without restriction, while trans women must demonstrate a testosterone level that has been below a certain cutoff point for at least a year before their first competition, and also commit to competing as a woman for a minimum of 4 years. As you may recall, transgender tennis player Dr. Renee Richards was banned from playing the 1976 U.S. Open by the USTA. Dr. Richards won a New York State Supreme Court ruling back in 1977 that cleared the way for her to compete in WTA and USTA events as a transgender woman. Now, just to refresh your memory, Dr. Renee Richards was born Richard Raskind and captained the Yale's men's tennis team. He underwent sex reassignment surgery in 1975. The WTA and many top women stars of the day opposed her playing, fearing she would upset the competitive balance of the game and lead to a slew of younger, stronger transgender women dominating women's tennis. But that never happened. Interestingly, Renee Richards and Martina are friends. Okay, so you've heard arguments on both sides. Where do you stand on this issue? Should transgender women continue to be permitted to play women's tennis, or do you stand with Martina, who calls it cheating? That's a wrap for now, but we'd like to hear from you on this subject. I'm Grace Carter. See you next time here on Tennis Now.